And now on to the second of these semi-finals.
Absolutely. We are now moving on to game 2, which is on Miso, the massively changed Miso, in fact.
How so? What changes have we got on Miso?
There have been the island.
Or is it going to be better to visual representation?
Well, we shall see it when we get into game, but there is far less metal.
Are we there?
On the islands everywhere. In actual fact, the primary island, the secondary islands, most of the metal has been moved into the sea now.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. There's it's been hugely changed. I think it may have been the most changed map. I think they obviously want to have more naval play because it was for a map with that much water, there was a lot of land play on it.
Right. I feel like my internet may have just gone.
Oh, I can still hear you talking. So
you can still hear me. Are you cut out for me? Ah, okay. I thought I was having hashtag technical difficulties.
No, you're still there. You're still good.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Right.
So, if you head across to esports.com, just under the live stream, you will see the voting for who's going to win. And already, 100% of the vote for Eladea. They are keeping the faith alive.
Really? There's a lot of faith in Eladea, I think. I think because he is the king of the planet as well, there is a certain willingness to give him that edge.
I think people who've seen him play, they know that even if Eladea lost that one, he's a strong player, and yeah, I still think he could do incredibly well. It's going to be a tough one though. Miso's changed such a lot that I'm not really sure how they're going to play now. I haven't really seen the new Miso in action. It's going to be much more naval heavy, but which one of these players is better at naval, I don't know. So we'll get into this match here on Miso between Eladea and Master, with Master being 1-0 up already. And if Master takes this, he will advance then into the final against an as yet unknown opponent, with Gregorian Monk having taken the first game of his semi-finals against Killer Kiwi. I'm not quite sure how the second game is going yet. But if you head out to see in the voting that we think that Eladea is going to take this win. The 2/3 of you voting for Eladea over Master. Yeah, keeping that faith, people. Keeping that faith.
Long live the king.
Well, exactly. Why, he may have lost the game, but there's no reason to stop backing him now. So if we... Oh, in actual fact, no, I'm completely wrong about what happened on Miso. Apparently, when I was checking out the map earlier, my system designer was bugged. Because, if anything, there is slightly more metal on this island. I think there used to be 2 metal here, now there's 3. Are you wrong about that?
It's a very pretty map, isn't it?
It must have been my system designer, because it looks pretty much the same to me as it ever did. So, we're going to see... Yeah, so damn you system designer is what I say to that.
Having talked it up so much, all these changes, the vast strategic changes on the map... I
was very excited.
Oh, well.
I'm so sorry, but I totally blame the system designer.
Oh, a good... Oh, no, wrong way. I've done that completely wrong. A bad worksman blames his tools. A good worksman blames himself.
Oh, wrong cat. Is there anything you haven't got wrong today?
My cat.
Let's have a look here. We've got Eladea going for an early tech start, and we have Master going for a bot start. So already 2 very contrasting approaches, and indeed something I think we're going to see a lot of. I think in this tournament we've seen almost every game open with players going for different opening builds from one another, which is quite exciting to see.
I think as one of the virtues of having a tournament like this so soon after a major balance change, as was said right at the beginning, there is no decisive meta that has been established yet, not in general, and certainly not for any of the tournament or ranked maps which we're using here today. So it's good to see some bit of variety.
Well, Miso, to be quite honest, is possibly my favourite ranked map. I love the variety of play. You get to see air, you get to see navy, you get to see land, you see attacks across almost like a little continent, you get to see attacks across islands, you get to see the amphibious docks in action. It's an absolutely spectacular map for showing off what PA can do. I just love playing this map so much.
Well, of course. Another level, there's no smashy, which I do enjoy seeing as well.
Yeah, we're not going to see any smashy. We're not going to see any laser. None of that stuff is. Yes, exactly. No pew on this one. It's just going to be some good old solid ground, naval, air action.
And Doc's failing to wiggle. Oh,
that was a surprisingly direct route, actually, considering he was going for docks. Perhaps I think he's just using them to scout.
I think one advantage of having docks in this map, as you said, is that they are amphibious, and that does allow you to project a little bit more power overseas where that is necessary to do so.
Yeah,
but at the same time, most of the fighting, I believe, is going to take place on this large continent, most likely. So it remains to be seen how effective the docks first will be.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I've seen people say I've seen both approaches really taken with success on me. So you can go either docks or you can go tanks, and they can both work out well. Even if you go docks, you're not going to stay docks, though. You're going to transition into vehicles. I wouldn't expect to see more than these 2 docks factories. I would expect to see vehicles if he stays on the land. Although it looks like Neptunio is transitioning into heavy navy after that. So maybe he's just going to come around and shell from the side and just try and contain Eladea until he can get there. And we see him actually setting up turrets and walls to hold these 3 mechs.
That's what he's going to. That's exactly what he's doing. He's going to maintain this small beachhead here, and other than that, just disappear off back into the ocean.
Meanwhile, over in the other semi-final, I'm told that Killer Kiwi managed to win the second game over on Miso, which means that Gregorian Monks, who is our wildcard entry for this tournament, and Killer Kiwi will go into their third game to determine who is going to be in the final of Evil Twins.
But I'm enjoying the fact that I think every single game, every single bracket so far has had a 2-to-1 outcome rather than any 2-for-nils where people have been eliminated before playing all 3 matches. I know I tell a lie. Bracket C, Eladea convincingly beats Zyke 2-0. Other than that, all of the games we've been watching have been decided one way or the other by the third game rather than the first 2.
Well, I see Eladea here pushing into the centre, taking out that turret, which, unfortunately, Master hadn't rotated to face the way the tanks were going to come, so the tanks got a few free shots before the turrets started returning fire. Remember, children, when you build turrets, build them facing the direction the enemy is coming from, because it can make a big difference.
And it just did there, as you saw. And his docks now trying to push back in and put in a bit of damage, but I'm not sure there are going to be enough docks there to do it. Has he got the numbers?
Yeah, he's got the
numbers.
You
sure?
Yep.
Are those spinners at the back there, not ants? I mean bolos. That was actually accidental, not deliberate. I promise.
No, he had the numbers to push that out, but he's going to lose. He's going to lose that section. He's moving into navy now. He's not making a big push to contest the land. I think he's going to give that to Eladea, and then he's going to try and. Well, I would expect to see him more aggressively expanding across the map. Perhaps getting an air fabric out there, because he knows that Eladea doesn't have any air at this point, or he should know. Let's have a look and see when was the last time he scouted him. He hasn't scouted him for a while. Eladea can't get out there and contest those islands. He should be taking them far more aggressively. But he's still managed to maintain an eco lead.
An air fabricator really would be ideal for this sort of map, because it's got the flexibility and the speed that you need to really just zip across and take all of this spare metal everywhere else across the map. I say that, we have actually got an air fabricator right here. He's actually gone to the far side of the map already.
Ah, excellent. That's good play. Oh, he's setting up a proxy base as well. So that's some good play there by Master. We see now this turret's not going to get completed in time. Well, at least not if Eladea's paying attention. It's not.
He's paying attention, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for Pagmaster. Oh, there goes the fabricator.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Master swept off this island pretty quickly by the looks of it. More turrets going up, but way too late. Those aren't. He really needs his commander back out there to hold the land a bit longer, and stall Eladea just taking that whole island.
Master's just building fabricators at this point. I'm not quite sure that's the best answer to ants in your base.
Ants in your base, yes. Yeah, I'm guessing this is just cues he hasn't changed. He's going to try and build up some more turrets, but it's way too late for that.
He's actually going to lose a couple of these naval factories as well, I think, when these tanks push through.
No, those tanks I think those tanks will get pushed back. He's got an Orca coming out now. Those tanks are going to have to move away from the shore. Navy can be really good against land.
If it can hit. Which is not always the case.
No, we're going to see those tanks pull back, take out that bot factory, and then just move out for edge. I think and that's all he needs to do. The island is his now.
He's managed to offset a lot of Neptunio's early eco lead, although there's a lot more mechs to be claimed out at sea, which Neptunio is moving on to as we speak. But he's managed to equalise the ecos more or less from what was a fairly decisive lead from Neptunio to start with.
Well, Master was giving up the land, I think, too easily. He's gone for a naval approach, which is good, but yeah, you have to hold the island for longer than that. I mean, we're what, less than 8 minutes in, and he's already been completely swept off the land now, and that's just way too easy. He needed to fight harder.
And those tanks are actually going to take out one of those naval factories, and in fact, the narwhals are in a bit of trouble as well. He's getting a bit of shot off on those.
Yeah, Master.
But now the
he's moving around to go and shell Eladea's base in return, but he's just giving up so much ground. And you see Eladea is going to start surging in economy soon, taking all these mexes, which are far more, which are really densely packed. And of course, he's got the tree economy going with his combat fabrics out there now.
But actually, giving up the land is an interesting tactic, perhaps not the best that I've seen so far.
No, I generally a player on Miso is you're gonna fight for the land, and then as you feel that you're holding your opponent or getting a slight advantage, you'll move into the water just to claim that necessary edge. You committing to the water really early and sacrificing the island. He's gonna have to draw Eladea into a really long game to make that pay off. On the other hand, it can be quite difficult to get into the water once you've lost it. So if he manages to camp off Eladea's base, he could make it quite tricky for Eladea to get out and achieve anything.
These two fabricators over here, which I just pinged you a second ago, looks like they're just building up a couple of cheeky metal extractors on the land. He's going to try and maintain this beachhead, I think.
Yeah, well, he's managed to stick them at the edge, which is surprising that Eladea's let him get away with that, especially as I think Eladea's got radar coverage there, which she has.
Yeah, he's just leaving them there, not really giving them much attention, which I'm surprised at.
And in fact, Eladea hasn't even scouted around the other side of the planet yet, so he doesn't even know about that naval proxy base. He hasn't scouted anything that isn't on the land yet.
I feel that he probably is an oversight on his part. He needs to put some more stuff into air. He's got all these land factories, all these vehicles, but actually, if Neptunio really wants to just sit in the water, those are not going to do much for him. They may as well just sort of be sat idle, because for all the good he's going to get out of them.
Well, we see him going now, Master going for an advanced naval factory, which
in fact,
isn't
it looks
really
like
in a position to contest.
It looks like his vehicle factories are all paused at this point.
Yeah, it's probably quite a sensible move on his part. He's going to go for a mass air strategy now, I think. Maybe to try and find the commander and pull off snipe, but I suspect he's just going to try and overwhelm the force of Neptunio.
I think, yeah, air versus naval can be very interesting to see. It's all numbers dependent. You have to have enough bombers, enough fighters to not get absolutely slaughtered by the AA.
I see a couple of pelters in Eladea's base actually, but they're not firing back because he's got enough intelligence. He just needs to build a radar, and he can actually shell that entire naval force. But he hasn't built one, so he can't return fire.
You reap what you sow, as they say.
Yeah, it's strange oversight because he's got the firepower to really take out Master's fleet.
But at the same time, he's probably not lamenting the loss of these vehicle factories. He's got them paused anyway, and they are, as I said earlier, they're not going to do him much good when his opponent is out at sea.
No, it's not going to be a big loss for him, but should still be distracting Master and whittling him down.
He is pushing him off this little beachhead. He gave him it for a while, but then decided, no, I'm not going to have you sat here. So he's taken out the metal extractors, and the last of Neptunio's forces on that landmass have now disappeared.
Yeah, it's been a lot more focused this game. There's been no kissy between skitters this time.
No.
It's just been ruthless massacring of one another's forces.
Good, that's what I like to see in a game of PA. I don't come here for love and cuddles.
Exactly, he's
and the pelters are finally firing.
Oh, but well, he's probably advanced. He's probably just advanced into line of sight at this point. Oh no, he's got radar coverage over there now. But yes, I mean, Eladea has pushed Master back into the sea like the Red Bull. But
you've seen that as well.
Yeah, the unicorns are emerging from the ocean, and they are fighting back.
I haven't seen that film in ages. A very long time.
We're going to get all snuffly and sad if we think about that film too much.
I think so.
Elder's just, look at this. He's got the line of pelters queued up here. Line of pelters just going to shell the hell out of Neptunio.
Good. That's. I feel like it's apt punishment for having neglected the land in that manner. And these wreckage is just providing a barrier for these fabricators just to not get slaughtered by the shells.
I'm just surprised that we're not seeing a more aggressive expansion by Neptunio. He's got huge areas of the ocean that he can take uncontested, but he's stalling hard. But he's not. He's got all these mechs that Eladir's not going to take. He's not taking them back. Eladir definitely trying to own the air now with his mass fighters. He's going to own the air, I think, and then he'll probably switch to building a southern fleet of bombers.
Looks like Neptunio's commander has emerged from the sea, and he wants us to get rid of those pelters before they do too much damage to his main base. The fabricators have finally been taken out by those long-range orca shots, and the commander's just coming on here and saying, "Excuse me, what on earth do you think you're doing?"
Yes, that's the British Bobby. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on here then? And he sees pelters, and he does not like it.
And he's taking a little bit of a scratching from those tanks as well. Just a little scratch.
Down to 89%, but I don't think he's going to be feeling that. But Eladir sneaking in some cheeky naval factories around the back of the island now, which haven't been picked up on yet. We see already actually Eladir starting to sneak bombers into his air formations now. We see that he vastly outnumbers Eladir in the skies, but Master making the switch up now to tier 2 economy. He's got one advanced fabricator out already, another one coming out of the advanced naval factory, but he doesn't have the anti-air he's going to need to secure that position. There's just owning the skies. He's going to fly around and bomb the hell out of all of them.
But surely he should have predicted this, because he was taken to the water. He should have predicted that's what Eladir would do, because that's the easiest and most obvious way for somebody who's got control of the land to transition into taking control of the water is to build air. So really, there's no excuse for Neptunio not having a shed load of anti-air in amongst his forces.
Yeah, if he moves his narwhals over, I mean, that makes sense in itself. They need to get over by that advanced fabricator, and they're sitting way out of position.
The advanced fabricator just got taken out there, unfortunately.
He's missed the other one though. The other one's still alive, starting to get some more metal, but the tree economy is real. He is owning the. He's got a real boost coming from those trees, and it's still not enough to fund all of the factories that he's running.
And he's running a lot of factories right now.
Yeah, we're seeing a real contrast in styles here. We've got one player going mass naval, one player going mass air, and you see that Master just trying to siege this island with ships on all points, and I think that's going to prove to be a mistake, because air can be all together at any one point, any what time they want to be, and the ships are really slow, and so Eladir is going to be able to concentrate his force a lot better than Master can.
I don't feel like Neptunio's really thought this through at all.
I don't think he knows what he's doing next. With he's transitioning to tier 2, although he doesn't even own all the tier 1. Yeah, exactly. I assume Leviathan bombarding is next, but that's not going to stand up against this air, and he should probably have just abandoned these orcas that he's got. And I see a barracuda there. I have no idea why that is. He just needs to go all narwhals, but he's not going to have enough.
It's very, very difficult. I mean, the only other thing that I can think of maybe is trying to get off a sneaky nuclear strike from this proxy base.
Eladir is now moving. Is he starting to move in?
That's in snipe territory. That's enough fighters there. If that's in snipe territory. He's seen the commander. He's going for the commander.
So exposed. Well, they explode now. They do AoE.
I think he's forgotten about that. I think he's forgotten about that. My God, that was so brutal. They all just got absolutely obliterated.
Yep. The AoE is real, people. When air dies, it explodes and it takes up. Oh, and he's GG'd. He has GG'd. I think that was a little premature. That feels like a bit of a rage GG to me.
Yeah, I think he was upset with his commanders dying like that. Yeah, his bombers rather.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, apparently, so we see that Master advances to the final, where he will be fighting Killer Kiwi, who has defeated Gregorian monks in his 3rd game. I can safely say that I had not predicted either of these finalists, so go me and my predictive skills. But I think let's take a quick look at this. But I think as we saw Eladir go for a strategy that would have worked in the last patch, where he went for mass bombers and went for the snipe. But unfortunately, he massed them into a single line.
I don't think he was aware of just. I don't think he's actually been fully aware of what happens to bombers when you kill them. Now I think that's what cost him that. That's why he got upset.
That's just unpreparedness. I mean, it's been in. He's played PTE. He knows about this. He was complaining about it the other day, so he knows about the explosion. I was surprised to see him mass the bombers into a single line like that. You've got to spread them out, or you've got to get them into a formation before you strike. You can't just bring them in a mass column like that anymore. It doesn't work. As we saw the explosions take them out. It's just, yeah, he'd have been far better off picking off Master's other areas of the map. And
Well,
then
really,
even
just spreading the bombers out a little bit would have done it a lot better than what actually ended up happening.
Yeah, he just uses bombers poorly. He uses bombers in a way that was fine for the last patch, not so good for this patch. You can't use them the same way anymore, and just acting as though you can, and then acting surprised about it afterwards. It's just a big mistake. And I was talking about the flexibility of Eladea, so to be quite honest, I was rather disappointed to see that. I expected him just to change the way he used the bombers, to just pick off all of Master's stuff around the map. Because we said Master's ships were spread way out. All of them would have been easy pickings for their air force, and he just went for the mass attack on the commander instead, which is a big mistake, especially as he was getting back in the water himself.
Absolutely, I feel Eladir had that game. He was very much in the lead. He had the advantage, but I think that rage quit was very premature there.
Yeah, I think so. I think the pelt. He could have come up with pelters. He could have gotten, I don't know, advanced bots. Tried for the slammers. I don't know how they do against things like the barracudas now. But if your opponent's going leviathans, then that tier 2 is going to bring nothing against underwater. He could have mass barracudas. I think, and probably swept around half of this force. He could have done almost anything, I think, other than what he did. He had the economy advantage. It felt like he was really controlling the game. He could have swept Master's economy out because it was spread out all over the place, and Master didn't have control of the air layers, so there wasn't a lot he could do to counter it. It felt like he just sort of committed to this all in and then just gave up. Even though I think he could have got his air force back up and running. Even if
he'd done that same thing 2 or 3 times in a row, he'd still have won because he got down about a quarter of Master's health off of that. If he'd just done the same thing 3 more times, he'd still have won.
Yeah, I thought it felt premature. It really did. I think he could have. I think he could have still won it. I was surprised to see him GG on that one, to be quite honest. But that gives so that's a 2-0 win to Master over Eladea. So well done to Master, because certainly I didn't predict that. Chat didn't predict that.